Hey guys, welcome back. It's your boy Manny here. Welcome to DFS Zone, your source for daily fantasy sports lineups for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. And before I move on any further with the video, guys, I would appreciate a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And don't forget to turn on those notifications so this way you do not miss any of my new uploads. With that being said, today is March the 24th, 2018. And today we have a 5-game slate, and before I go on and I give you my stud 5 of the day, I would like to recap the stud 5 from yesterday. Obviously there weren't all studs. I did have 2 duds. I gave you Schroeder, Mr. Middleton, Mr. Jackson, Mr. Parker, and Mr. Towns as my stud 5 yesterday, and only 3 out of the 5 at least met value. The value plays were Middleton, 41.6 fantasy points. He had 5 field goals, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. He had 1 block, 4 steals, and 2 3-pointers. Mr. Josh Jackson had 32, right on the nose, 8 field goals, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. And Mr. Towns put up a 55 spot with 9 field goals, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks, 1 steal, and he had 2 3-pointers. My duds, Mr. Schroeder, man, second strike on him. I can't say any more than that. 29.1 points. Fantasy points he put up yesterday, 8 field goals, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal. It's just not sufficient. He was pretty much undervalued by 6 or 7 points. Mr. Parker was the worst. He was the dud of the night. 15.6 fantasy points, 3 field goals, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. I think it was about almost 50% owned. So obviously a lot of people felt the same way I felt, that maybe he was in good play, especially with Giannis not playing. But nonetheless, Middleton had the bigger game. I would think maybe Bledsoe had the second best out of the 3. I had told you yesterday it would be either Middleton or Bledsoe, or stacking all 3 in this game, or just using Middleton and Parker, or Parker Bledsoe. I chose Middleton and Parker. Maybe the best bet was just to use only Middleton, or maybe go with the package with the stack of Bledsoe and Middleton. Nonetheless, I didn't do that. I had played this stud 5 in about 3 lineups. I didn't cash in any in the 3. I did play them 3 in a 50-50, as well as one of those 2 or 3 of those 100 player little small games, and I cashed a little bit there as well. But that's basically nothing enormous to even show you guys. I did have, I think the top score was 304. But just to shorten the video a little bit, when I have really good nights, I'm definitely going to share that with you guys. I am more consistent than I am not consistent. So it's just the last 2 nights, not the greatest nights for me, but I'm looking to bounce back today. With that being said, let's just move on. Let's dive into the stud 5 for today. My first stud for today is in the point guard position, and I like Mr. Ish Smith today. Smith is facing, he's going up against Chicago. Chicago is 26th ranked in the entire league at point guard position, defending the point. They're 28th in fantasy points, 29th, almost dead last in fantasy points per minute, 29th in rebounds, 18th in field goals made, and 28th ranked against 3-pointers. So I mean, they're really poor in almost every phase of the game. Not only that, Mr. Smith has had 3 straight 30-plus games, and he's also, in his last 2 meetings against Chicago, he's put up 22 and 29 with those games not being played, with the amount of minutes and usage that he's getting out of at this point in time during the season. He's actually being used a lot more now, and he's actually gotten more minutes since those last 2 meetings. So I say he's the best play. I like him really as my best guard here today at 5,600. Man, just throw him in there. You'll be able to get something stronger. So you can be able to get some value play somewhere else. All right, so Mr. Smith is my first stud. My second stud is Mr. Drew Holiday. 8,500. He's probably one of my main studs for today. 8,500 Holiday in a good situation as well. He's playing against Houston. It's going to be a competitive game. It's going to feel like almost like playoff atmosphere. We did find out that Rajon Rondo is out, so there's going to be some value coming out of New Orleans. More than likely, Ian Clark is in play for sure, because more than likely he's stepping in and starting. Holiday, good spot here, facing Houston. Houston is in the middle of the league, defending the shooting guard at 14th, but they've had their trouble. When I see a middle a team defend well during the course of the year against everyone in the league, but they can't defend a particular player as well, that's when I consider that player as a good play. So in this case here, the matchup is probably not the best defensive-wise, but he has had great success against Houston, and that's one of the reasons why I like him. And not only that, he's also playing he's been playing really, really well as of late. So I mean, Holiday, even though he has not hit value pretty much in his last 4 games, close to value, but just below value, I think he's definitely in a good position today to hit value in this game. He has hit 5 straight value games against Houston over his last 5 games playing against Houston. 46, looking here, 46. Previous game, 38, 62, 41, and 36 spots. So they all, a little fluctuating up and down, but each one of those were all at value or better. So I just like the way this guy plays. I mean, he's in a good spot here. I would say pencil in Mr. Holiday. I think he's going to have a nice game. And then my next stud is going to be right underneath him here, Mr. Tyreek Evans. First time in a while I've taken 2 guys at this kind of like mid-tier price range. 7,800 for Tyreek Evans. He's at home against the Lakers. As we know, Lakers are up and down, a fast-paced team. Memphis likes throwing things down a little bit. The only thing I'm fearing of this game is a blowout, but for whatever reason, I think they're going to try to play with a little more pride today. They're playing the Lakers. Evans is their best player. I expect him to get enough floor time, and I expect him to play 25 to 30 minutes. If he gets that, he's going to need value. And as we all know, Tyreek is capable of just exploding and putting up a 40-50 spot. He has a lot of upside. So I just like him in this particular matchup. The Lakers, statistically, they have, let's see here, Mr. Evans, yeah. So the Lakers are 23rd ranked against shooting guards. He has not hit value in his last 2 out of his last 3 games. Actually, he has hit value, excuse me. He has hit value in his last 2 out of his last 3 games. He has had 3 straight value games against LA, 44, 48, and 32 spots. So I think he's, he's another guy just like Holiday. He plays well against certain teams. He plays very well against LA, and they're going to need him to step up today. So I would say 3rd stud, pencil him in, Mr. Evans. My 4th stud is coming out of the power forward position, and that is Mr. Aaron Gordon. He's playing at home against Phoenix. We both know that Phoenix and Orlando are pretty much, they both suck. Let's put it that way. Power forwards positions, he's in a favorable position here because out of all the positions that both of the teams suck in, Phoenix really doesn't have anybody that's going to be able to stop this guy. Personally, I just don't think anybody will be able to stop him. Gordon has put up, since coming back from his injury and playing, he's had a 33 and a 33 back-to-back games. Not quite value, just slightly under. But his last 2 meetings against Phoenix, he's put up a 39 spot, pretty much a 40, 39.90, and he's put up 29.30, which you round that off, it's like a 30 spot. So he's had 2 good games, and they weren't high, and they were only like 25 to 27 minutes. If this guy gets 30 minutes, and this game stays competitive, which I think it will. I don't think any one of these teams is going to blow out the other. I think this game is going to stay close. I think they're just going to go at it and maybe end up being a good shootout, maybe 100, 110 points apiece. I just see Mr. Gordon here having an excellent game. I like him here at 7,800. I think he's going to go crazy. I will say pencil him in as your 4th stud. My 5th stud is coming also from Orlando. It's a lot of big guys here. Drummond is a good play. Howard possibly as well. But Vukovic is in a good spot here as well. So I'm going to go with Vuk at 8,100. At least everybody's still with 5,500. There's a lot of value. I'm going to share with you a couple value plays in each position right after this. But Vukovic, center spot here. He's in a good spot as well. Phoenix is 20th ranked against centers. They're 25th in fantasy points, 25th also in fantasy points per minute. They're 19th, which is a little bit on the lower end of the league in rebounding, and they're 14th in field goals made. He has hit value in 3 straight games, but he has had 4. He has 4 out of his last 5 games versus Phoenix. I got here, he's got 32, 45, 43, 36, and 36. Out of all the big men that are playing tonight, he has the best statistics against his opponent. And Phoenix, as we know, they both of these teams, like I said before, they really don't play that well. But this is a game here with Vuk being healthy and Gordon being healthy. They're gonna need these two guys because obviously, they're not gonna get. They don't have any other stars. Fournier is not playing. They got Jonathan Isaac is hurt, so they got a couple of guys missing here. These guys gonna have to step up and really take up the load. So I see a lot of putbacks, a lot of shots right in the paint. And again, I just think this is just the best play for everybody today. So there goes the stud five. You got Ish Smith, Drew Holiday, Tyreek Evans, Aaron Gordon, and Nikolai Vukovic. And you say to yourself, well, I got 5,500 per player. Where I'm going to get the value at? There's a couple of nice value plays I'm going to share with you guys. I do like. Let's see here. I do like a couple. At point guard, let's click on here. At point guard, right away, it draws me right away to these guys around here. You got J.J. Barrera at 5,900. I kind of like DJ Augustin here in this Phoenix-Orlando game, 5,300. Augustin, I think, I don't know how well he's done against Phoenix, but let's see here. Phoenix is 27th, okay, in the league against point guards. He has had his hit value. I'm seeing here his hit value 2 out of his last 3 times against this team, and that was in limited minutes. And now we know that DJ Augustin starts pretty much for Orlando, so he's in a good spot. I would say he's a good play tonight at home against Phoenix. Cameron Payne is another one in a good spot, 5,200. I think Mr. Payne is playing more than enough minutes. I think he's playing 25 or more. Yep, 28, 23, 30. And he's put up some decent numbers. So, Cameron Payne is in a good spot here as well. As we know, Detroit is a better defending defensive team against point guards than Orlando and Phoenix. So that's why I would probably lean more towards Augustin. You could also even consider Mr. Mack here in that same game at 4,500. My nicest value play would be Ian Clark here. Now knowing that Rondo's out, we know he's going to get a little bit of a uptick in time and floor time and usage. I think Clark is a good play today. Definitely a good play today. He'll definitely be in my lineup. Reggie Jackson coming back from injury. He's had 2 games. They're really just trying to work him in slowly. I think he only played like 18, 19 minutes the last 2 games. 15 and 19. So, slowly but surely he'll get 20, 25. He may get up to 25 today. Who knows? He may be a good play. I got Mr. Smith there. I hope that's not the case. I hope Smith continues to play well because he has been. And I think those are the best plays there. I like Augustin. I like Ian Clark. And I like Mr. Payne here as value play if you're looking for those guys at 5,000, 5,500 or less. As shooting guard, I only like 2 guys for value here. You could consider Eric Gordon, but I like Luke Kennard. He's played well, 4,600. He's getting minutes, as you can see, 29, 27, 24, and 32, and he's putting some respectable numbers up. So I kind of like him there. So Luke Kennard is definitely in play for me as a value play. You could also consider Mr. Selden against LA. He's playing 21 minutes pretty much on the norm, and look at the numbers, pretty much a point a minute. So he's definitely a good value play today. Troy Daniels is another one against Orlando. He's getting the minutes, 28, 31, and 33, and obviously that's because Mr. Booker is hurt. Now Booker is still not. There is no word yet if he is out for today. I still think he didn't play last night. I believe that they're going to hold him off because this is a game that they don't really need Devin Booker to come back and play against Orlando. They should be able to get by with Troy Daniels. I don't expect Mr. Booker to play. And if he does not play, Mr. Daniels is in play, guys. At 3,700, I think that's a fine value play there. So you'll get some value there out of Mr. Daniels. Small forward. Let's move on to small forward. I like Jackson, of course. He is on the upper tier, 68. But on the bottom half over here, I would say Ariza in the same game against New Orleans. New Orleans struggled in pretty much every position in some area. Stanley Johnson against Chicago might be a good play, 4,400. Stanley Johnson is getting, he only got 14 minutes in the last game. That's the scary part. He's like up and down with the minutes. 31 here, 16, 17, then he gets a jump, 25, 27. So I guess it depends on the situation, who they're playing against, what the score is. That's going to determine more or less how much time Stanley Johnson gets on the floor. And not only that, if Mr. Bullock is not playing well, he comes in, he's playing better, then obviously Stanley Johnson more than likely will be in play longer. So it's a little bit of a risky play, but I would say he's in play if you're interested in somebody in lower half. And I think the lower half here, the only one I do like is Mr. Dylan Brooks. Brooks against LA, he's going to probably get some playing time there. His minutes are the same thing, sporadic. He was 29-30, 29-39-30, and all of a sudden goes down 21 and 16. So it's just hard to determine, that's more so because they were just not playing well. The last two games, Memphis has just stunk up the joint. So if this game stays competitive for a little while, then Mr. Dylan Brooks is going to get time on the floor. At 3,900, he's worth a little a look there. Power forward, I like Powell here and Kaminsky. I think those are the two value plays that I like best. Powell here with Nowitzki dealing with a knee issue. Chances are Nowitzki's not going to play. He's got knee tendonitis. So I will say there is going to be an uptick here in Dwight Powell, who's been starting at times at center. He's probably going to be a starting power forward, and they'll leave the center for Noel. So I see Powell as a good play here at 4,500 today. You can also consider any two of the Charlotte guys, but I prefer Kaminsky over Williams. Obviously, I'm choosing Aaron Gordon Aaron Gordon against Dallas. I'm choosing Powell to dominate here. I think Powell's in a good spot. If he does start at power forward, he's going to face Marvin Williams and Kaminsky. They're not the greatest defenders, especially Marvin Williams, as we all know. So, again, there's still good value in Dwight Powell or Mr. Kaminsky. I kind of like those two the best. You can also consider Mr. Bender in this Orlando game. He's going to get obviously some run. He's a starter. He gets more than enough minutes. He just doesn't pull a lot of points. He gets 10 tons of time on the floor. He just doesn't produce enough to make him a good play. I think that obviously Mr. Powell is in better play. Maybe even Jarrell Martin in that Memphis LA Lakers game if Mr. Green struggles. Center. Moving on to center value here, man, the only one I really like is either Noel or Lopez. I'm not on Hernan Gomez. I think, that's Dwight Howard gets into foul trouble, then I would say Willie will get some time. We'll get some good usage here. Lynn was more than likely starting here, obviously with Mr. Tyson Chandler out. Lynn is not a bad play against Orlando here, but to battle Vukovic is not a bad defender. I just see if I'm going to choose anybody here at center, I'm going to stay with the big guns. I would either choose Andre Drummond, play Howard, or play Vukovic, maybe with Marcus Gasol or Capella. But out of the lower half here, I would say only Noel or Lopez. Then the only true value is Mr. Noel. So, it's entirely up to you what you choose. But with the 55-50, like I said, there's a couple of guys I gave you here. They're going to give you some value. And again, you have a good chance to have not only stud 5, but be able to have a great lineup. And again, guys, the stud 5 is just a suggestion. It's just my opinion. Obviously, everybody's entitled to listen to other guys and get other input. And I don't play my stud 5 as a core in all my lineups. I do mix things up. Being a 5-game slate, obviously you want to have a top 5 or 6 players. I do have 7 in mind, and I have 2 more in mind that I'm going to add to this, and then I'm going to try to figure out what my last 2 are. But I'm going to roll with my 5 studs today, and of course, it's all my opinion. Do not play them if you don't wish to play them, and always try to do your own research if you can to see if these are good plays, as well as figuring out what other guys you want to put within these guys here to make the best possible lineup for yourself to give you the best chance to win. So, guys, with that being said, this is pretty much it. This is your stud 5 for today. Smith, Holiday, Evans, Gordon, Vukovic. I don't foresee any changes unless I see some value come up, but all the injuries and everything that I pretty much discussed already, I think those are the ones that are in play. I gave you some recommendations on some value plays. Just go out there, kick some butt tonight. Good luck to everybody. God bless, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes. All right. Peace out.